Have you thought about what you'll prepare for dinner today? How will you be incorporating local foods in that meal? Well, today on Jamaica Magazine, we look at how the government is ensuring food security by protecting the livelihood of farmers. Plus, how what is reaped from our soils contribute to our delectable local cuisine in Pepper Pot. Flavors of Jamaica. It's a foodie show, so stay with me, your host Adrian Atkinson, for the next half hour. At the top of the show is the news.
Householders, business people, school administrators, be on the alert. Help control the mosquito population. Destroy breeding sites. Empty old tires and all other containers where water can settle. Bore holes in old cans. Cover water drums and garbage cans. Wash flower pots and vases and clean pet dishes regularly. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Cover your body as much as possible and use mosquito repellent containing DEET.
Good day, I'm Stacey Ann Smith, and this is your GIS News for Wednesday, July 15. National Security Minister Peter Bunting has announced a three-pronged strategy to combat Jamaica's current spike in murders. He outlined the measures in a statement to Parliament Tuesday.
1. Strengthening the operational capabilities of the security forces. 2. Addressing the root causes of our societal violence with various social intervention strategies. And 3. Bringing important legislation to this House to support the investigation and prosecution of criminals.
As part of the measures, the police will be getting 139 assorted new vehicles within the next 6 months, and 9 rugged all-terrain vehicles will be delivered to the JDF this year. Over 5,000 private firearms and thousands of rounds of ammunition in police custody for many years were recently destroyed, eliminating the possibility of these firearms leaking into the illicit trade. Meanwhile, about $1 billion is being spent to upgrade the automated fingerprint identification system and the 119 emergency call center. And the social intervention strategy includes measures to provide training and employment, improve parenting skills, and deploy trained violence interrupters in high-crime areas. The National Security Minister also tabled the Maritime Drug Trafficking Suppression Amendment Act 2015 in Parliament yesterday. It's part of measures to intensify the fight against the drug trafficking trade. The act will give the Security Minister the power to waive Jamaica's right to exercise jurisdiction over Jamaican nationals who have been detained by law enforcement authorities of a treaty state.
It has been extremely difficult to successfully prosecute cases when Jamaica has asserted jurisdiction over nationals. With the country located in the corridor between the main drug-producing and drug-consuming countries, collaboration with our international partners to prevent traffickers transiting the country's waters is an absolute necessity.
Currently, the law allows the minister to waive Jamaica's rights to exercise jurisdiction over vessels, cargo, and non-nationals, but not over Jamaican nationals. There has been a steady decline in the levels of violence and critical incidents in schools over the past 3 years. Education Minister Ronald Thwaites told Parliament Tuesday that the reduction was due in part to the work of the Ministry's Security and Safety Unit and the Police Community Safety and Security Branch.
Robberies have dropped over the 3-year period in schools by 83%. Fatal stabbings are down by 67%. Thefts down by 60%. Woundings down by 52%, fights have dropped by 14%, and weapons found in schools by 17%. And these figures represent a trend over the 3-year period.
He also reported that while the number of weapons seized had declined, there were increases in the number of students found with weapons. This has prompted the Education Ministry to take steps to buy 135 new metal detector wands for use in schools in the upcoming academic year. The ministry has also implemented guidelines for the possession and use of scissors by school children. The Tourism Linkages Hub is organizing an event to encourage the production and purchase of more Jamaican-made items. The Christmas in July initiative will be held on July 24 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Head of the Tourism Linkages Hub, Carolyn MacDonald-Riley, says it will feature a wide selection of items to buyers from the hospitality sector, consulates and embassies, and corporate Jamaica. 80 local producers of authentic craft, gifts, and souvenirs will showcase their products.
It is an opportunity for our productive sector to be more profitable. It is an opportunity for our productive sector to do more with local products, and therefore possibly would be able to stem some of the demand on the foreign exchange and create more jobs.
Mrs. MacDonald-Riley was speaking at a recent GIS think tank. And finally, residents of Thompson Town in Clarendon are now benefiting from a new $8 million multipurpose complex. The facility houses a post office, poor relief office, homework center and a market. At last Wednesday's opening ceremony, Information Minister Senator Sandria Faulkner encouraged residents to use the complex to empower themselves.
It would be a disservice if you do not take care of it and use it to the full advantage of the community. In the exercise of your social responsibility, you have a duty to protect this investment.
Member of Parliament and Minister of State for Transport, Works and Housing, Richard Azan, had some good news for the citizens.
Very shortly, we are going to have a training program here with 25 young people. I want to say that we have 8 computers ready for the homework center.
The complex was built with money from the Constituency Development Fund, JEEP, the Clarendon Parish Council and local businesses. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stacey Ann Smith. Thank you for watching.
Finger-licking jerk chicken, Helcher fish and bami, we run down yam and banana, roast bread fruit, sweet potato pudding. Jamaica food sweet. So let's make a pledge to use more local produce and less foreign goods. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow.
When you go shopping for local produce, you want to be confident that not only are you getting the best quality, but also that it is safe for consumption. The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries is helping you with this process through several predial larceny initiatives. Learn more in Strategic Priority Number 3, Security and Justice.
Security and justice, 2 critical portfolios in the government's arsenal of measures to achieve national safety. This includes measures for the protection of goods and services. The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries is pursuing initiatives to support this and stamp out predial larceny. The theft of farm produce and livestock has been robbing the agricultural sector of some $5 billion per year, and government is getting tougher on the perpetrators. The Agriculture Minister announced a 4-pronged strategy to deter or catch the culprits. These include a national animal identification and traceability system, the establishment of dedicated predial larceny units within the Agriculture Ministry and the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and the strengthening of key pieces of legislation. These measures resulted from a stakeholder strategy workshop, which included the Ministries of National Security and Justice. When they come into full effect, the amendments will see farmers operating according to certain policy guidelines. These guidelines will create a clear distinction between farmers and those bent on stealing, especially under the disguise of being a farmer or buyer. Farmers will be required to register with the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, and those trading in produce will need to use receipt books to validate the amount of goods with which they're traveling. With regards to livestock, a tagging system is being introduced to trace animals from farms to slaughterhouses. Starting with cattle, the plan is to tag them with a chip that will transmit valuable information about the animal to a national database and provide accessible data if stolen. This will be rolled out under the National Identification and Traceability System.
It has all the details, the owner of the farmer, the original owner of the farmer, where it was born, and then it will tell you all the subsequent owners.
The tagging will be carried out by the Ministry's Veterinary Division, and information gathered from the process will be used to identify the animal and track its movement. It is from this database that police officers will be able to determine if persons found with animals in their possession are the legal owners.
Animals cannot move from one point to the next without three things: ear tags, one in each ear, passport, and they must have notified the Veterinary Services AIT unit that they're intending to move that cow. If all those things are not in sync, then we have a problem.
It will also be a requirement for all venues or establishments that house bovine animals to be registered to facilitate the movement of the animals.
Stakeholders that are going to be involved include public health inspectors, owners of abattoirs and slaughterhouses, butchers, markets, showground, the police, very important, because when they stop a truck, they need to look for those three things. They can verify the ear tags right away and the passport just by stopping that vehicle.
These measures are in place to protect the livelihood and economic stability of farmers, maintain a secure business environment within the agricultural sector, and ensure a safe operation within the food chain.
If the consumer can convince that regardless of where they buy a piece of meat in Jamaica, that beef has been subjected to a traceability system by the competent authority from farm to slaughter, they know that they can be confident that they have a safe product.
And so a zero-tolerance approach will be coordinated to clamp down on persons or places that buy and sell stolen meat and produce. To further assist the police and its support services, the Agriculture Ministry partnered with the Mona School of Business and Management to create two apps. Harvest API app collates and manages RADA's farmer registration database, and the Clip app provides the police with instant mobile access to that database via cellular phones.
Many might view a farmer as that old man in his water boots riding a donkey, an iconic image, certainly, especially in rural Jamaica. But the youth, more often than not, are exploring the many benefits that this sector has to offer. In our next feature, we hear from Swain Sangster, who has committed himself to Jamaica's food security as a young farmer.
My name is Swain Sangster. I attend Newell High School, and I am from the parish of St. Elizabeth. When I get older, I have a lot of choices to make, but I would like to have a business in farming to help to feed the nation.
Attracting young people to farming is a target of the Agriculture Ministry as it seeks to deepen the pool of farmers and increase productivity. Through the Jamaica 4-H Club and the School Garden program, young persons like Swain are honing the skills and cultivating the passion needed to become master farmers.
What I really like about being in the field, seeing how things grow and reaping it, and actually what I mostly like about being a farmer is eating what I grow.
That's exactly the direction in which the Ministry of Agriculture is positioning the country through its Eat What You Grow, Grow What You Eat campaign.
One of my favorite things to plant is corn because it looks kind of nice. It tastes better almost everything in I feel.
This budding farmer refuses to look at farming as a rejected occupation. Instead, he says,
being a farmer actually means you got food on the table for your family to eat. Every time somebody put a food to their mouth, you see a little smile and kind of like how you smile. Feel like you contribute to the smile when they got on their face.
And so, in pursuit of a business in farming, Swain uses his grandfather's farm as the ideal training ground.
Some of the things I know about farming is how to plant corn, beans, when it is fit to pick up banana.
From his grandfather, he learns valuable lessons.
He's very punctual and he take care and grow. Don't really can't get in it.
For his part, husband Blair believes that Swain has all he needs to become a top farmer.
Yes, I see him like somebody who would be industrious in farming. I expect him to, I would say, more talented more than I do. For he is in a high school, and I know the tactics I had in my like a small farming, he had greater tactics in the school.
And while pursuing what he loves, boys will be boys.
Shawty, will you let me take you home?
Trouble though, he give enough trouble, and sometimes he very, very annoying. And he love to laugh too.
That's because Swain loves to give jokes and play pranks on his schoolmates.
He's like a class clown. He would give people names and start calling them and everyone would laugh.
Still, Swain is dedicated to his studies and, according to his friends, always willing to lend a helping hand.
Like if you don't have something, he'll give you like you don't have a pencil and he has one, he'll like break it into two and give me piece and he'll take piece.
And this generous side to Swain extends to his future plans.
My brothers also like farming, so I would like to create a business that they could also be co-owners with me.
It is Swain's dream to become a billionaire one day, and he believes that with hard work he will become one.
He do good in farming. When most of the times when he go off the farm, he does well. He always get good scores in agriculture.
Swain's sangster, passing on the message of growing what we eat and eating what we grow, fulfilling the Agriculture Ministry's mission of getting more young people involved in farming.
Jamaica's premier agricultural show is coming up. What are you looking forward to? Senator Norman Grant, president of the Jamaica Agricultural Society, shared some of the expectations for this big event.
Demby Show will celebrate its 63rd anniversary on July 31st to August 2, 2015, on the Demby Show ground in Mapen, Clarendon, as we strive to showcase an optimal show with tremendous quality. This year, the JS will celebrate its 125th anniversary. Such we are lighting how Demby has empowered our farmers and has contributed to the building of a stronger agriculture sector over the last 120 years. Thus, we are aiming for an ambitious 120,000 patrons to attend the show over the 3 days. The theme Grow What We Eat What We Grow is supported by the sub-theme of the Ministry of Agriculture, Making Agriculture Sustainable. We have decided to keep the admission at $800 for adults and $300 for children. The show will be July 31st, and it will be the Governor General's Day and the Youth Day, a National Farm Queen coronation. Saturday, August 1, will be the Minister of Agriculture Day, and we have Digicel and stars and the ambassadors. And on the 2nd, which is Sunday, August 2, the Prime Minister's Day, and that's the Jamaica Broilers Gospel Show in the evening. So it will be packed with activities, and each evening we'll be having entertainments.
So mark the dates, save the money, and take your entire family to see why and how our agricultural sector will remain the bedrock of Jamaica.
Let's celebrate Jamaica to the world. Fastest man in the world. First Jamaican woman to win gold in Olympic 100-meter sprint. An upcoming global superstar. Mouth-watering meals. And a vibrant set of people. We are Jamaicans. Let's get together and bring back the love.
From the ackee to the breadfruit to callaloo, all staples in many Jamaican homes. But have you ever thought about how the food we grow and eat reflect our cultural diversity while creating a delicious blend of flavors during meal times? Think about that while you watch the next feature.
It's a melting pot of cultures, cooking techniques, ingredients, flavors and spices from all who've had a hand in the making of the nation. Taino, Spanish, British, African, Chinese, Indian and others, shaping a national culinary palette that's more than 50 years in the making. Jamaica's cuisine has come a far way. The island now boasts dozens of fast food chains, oriental restaurants, all-natural eateries and indigenous food shops that serve a buffet of dishes, many of which were not celebrated fair just 50 years ago when Jamaica was a newly independent nation. Credit must go to government bodies like the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, which has been promoting the consumption of authentic Jamaican foods since its culinary competition in hotels was introduced in 1965.
When we roast the yam, when we roast the yam.
Do you like roast yam? You're not alone. Many Jamaicans have acquired a taste for this particular dish, and they didn't have to look far for its creation. Roasting is a centuries-old cooking style that Jamaicans owe to the Taino peoples that once occupied this land. Just 50 years ago, it was still a time-consuming, more labor-intensive practice of roasting ground provisions and meats in the earth.
They even roast the fish in the earth, and then they scrape it off.
Now, Jamaicans from all walks of life are roasting, over grills, on meat sheets, in less time, but with as much flavor as their ancestors. Since the arrival of Christopher Columbus in the 15th century, Spanish flavors have been spicing up Jamaican pots on a regular basis. One particular cooking style, and its most popular creation, has made a big impression.
We in Spain, we fry a lot. There is definitely the one dish that has a clear connection with Spain, which is the escovitch.
Empanada to the Spanish, patty to Jamaicans. Since the late 1970s to early 1980s, this meat-filled dough dish has been another favorite.
The concept is very much the same. The difference would be, and there is again a mixture of other cultures. In this regard, I guess the British and the Indians, the filling.
As the local cattle industry beefed up its output in the 1960s, Jamaicans wholeheartedly reclaimed one of their favorite pre-independence imports. Now on a Saturday, there is hardly a household that is not cooking either the popular beef soup or one of its other variations. The British like to boil, and it's from them that we've adopted this cooking method to serve up a wide array of dishes that are uniquely Jamaican. Hot as it is, Jamaicans love their teas, and while traditional English flavors were the popular choices for about the first 2 decades of independence, industrious Jamaicans have more recently been bagging indigenous and African-inspired flavors. It could have been the love for teas by the English that prompted then-Governor Sir Nicholas Laws to plant coffee seedlings in the island back in the 1700s. From the first plant in Temple Hall, St. Andrew, the Blue Mountain coffee is now a global brand. With about 90% of the Jamaican population claiming African heritage, it's easy to see why the continent gets credit for most of what we eat. But there was a time when claiming that particular heritage was not for popular consumption.
You wouldn't find bami being sold in the supermarket in the 60s or late 70s.
Green bananas were a no-no if you're sort of, you know, it was a very peasant thing and you couldn't say that you're eating green bananas.
No more. Today, Jamaicans of all ethnicities delight in their prickled or corn meats, mackerel rondong, and yes, the many faces of bami and banana, green, ripe, boiled, fried, however you want it. What would the Jamaican diet look like without the maroons?
They would catch the wild hog. They would prepare that wild hog and they would dig a hole and they put the fire in the earth in the hole and they would set up a wooden grill over that hole and anchor these sticks with stones and so on. And then they would have the pig on that pimento, green pimento wood that is anchored over that hole, and that was how they would roast the pig. After they season it, of course, with bird pepper and pepper elder.
And from the hole emerged the most popular maroon gift to the dinner plate, jerk.
In the 1980s, you could only get jerk pork in Portland. Only at the Port Antonio market on a Saturday when the Maroons used to go there to sell it. And then afterwards, I think one of the Maroons was started the stand at Boston.
Giving us the widely popular Boston jerk pork and its many challengers from all across the island.
The truth is, over the last 50 years, we have had a major integration of Indian culinary arts into Jamaican art.
The most popular integration is not a specific dish, it's a spice. While Jamaicans tend to rub it on the meat and the Indians are more likely to put it in hot oil, everyone agrees curry is a much appreciated import from the Asian continent.
You know, in Jamaica, we are very adventurous. We like to go beyond what we are accustomed to. So we move from curry goat to curry chicken, and all sorts of things are being curried too.
The Jamaicans have come to embrace the Chinese cuisine because it's good.
But you know, Jamaicans, sometimes we cook the Chinese thing at home with the soya sauce, but we have to throw a little jerk seasoning in it and what have you, because it's a combination of flavors.
When Rasta say ital food and no deaders and no flesh and face and bone, and people used to look at it with scorn and say breeze go blow you away, and you know, up to now no breeze no blow away. You see, if you have the proper combination of seasoning in your pot and the proper timing, you don't need to use the salt and the other little artificial thing.
Many Jamaicans still cook with salt and meats remain a constant, but the healthy lifestyle pushed decades ago by the Rastafarian community is now a well-accepted and celebrated way to live. No Jamaican cookbook could be complete without this chapter. Whether it stems from a fruit or it's brewed in a lab, Jamaicans love to imbibe.
So ginger beer, to lemonade, and then we have sorrel. And we have been making a lot of drinks with our fruits, like soursop punch, and we make breadfruit punch and sorrel, and at Christmas time there's egg punch.
Now that is the perfect cap on a multi-ethnic menu, fit for the most airy people in the world.
Continue to explore the tastes of Jamaica by viewing additional programs on our YouTube channel and website gis.gov.jm. We want to hear from you, so keep sending your feedback to our Twitter and Facebook pages. You can also download the JIS News app for your smartphone. I'm Adrian Atkinson on behalf of the hardworking production team here at the JIS. Thank you for watching and do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.